I know we discussed names very briefly.
Right.
Any further thoughts on that?
No. I thought your idea for Gain the Lead Chats, I thought that was appropriate for what we were doing.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
we can just, especially for the first video,
Yeah.
we can, like, open with, hello and welcome to Gain the Lead Chats, where you finally see the faces behind the magics. And that's you, not me.
Yes, I do all the editing. The only thing I don't do is all the voiceover.
Right.
It's the only thing I don't do.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't paid me.
Okay, yeah. So do GtL Chats.
Yeah.
I like to abbreviate it a lot of times. GtL Chats. But if you if you want to do big, a lot of text for all our viewers to have to read.
Well, I just say that so that people actually know what it means.
True.
What does GtL mean?
So gravy, something lettuce.
Get the lettuce.
Get the lettuce.
Get the lettuce.
Get the lettuce. There we go. Get the Lettuce Productions.
That's right. I've seen some weirder names. So that is
true.
Yeah.
Hill of Beans.
I was
I don't know what show I've seen that from. That's at the end of the show. I can't remember one. But Hill of Beans.
One I always like was Boxing Cat.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's very good.
And they showed a cat boxing.
Oh,
so
yes.
Really boxing, not like that. No, it had gloves and everything. That was pretty awesome.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was.
That's clever.
And of course, okay, who are you again?
Paul.
Right. You're Paul, and you're the guy in charge of everything.
Yeah,
and
I'm Paul, the guy behind Gain the Lead Productions from the very get-go.
Right.
Essentially kicking it off.
Right. One other thing we should probably settle on before we do that. Okay, so if you're Paul, who am I?
True. Because we glanced right over that.
Yeah, as usual, people just kind of ignore me. Now I'm building your videos as Caleb, right?
Yeah. Yeah. In the credits, you're referring to?
Right.
Yeah, just Caleb.
Right. So I am Caleb, the voice of Arthur B. James.
In our, I would love to say popular Halo 3 mission with Kirkland, but
hey, it is popular to everyone we know.
Yeah.
Everyone we've talked to who's watched it has liked it. Especially our mothers.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, over the past week, they've dropped a lot of trailers.
I know. Because just last night my dad watched the one for the Fantastic Four that they released, so I came out and I watched that with him. Mm-hmm. I watched the one for Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World.
Right.
Yeah. And we've seen, the Star Wars trailer and Batman versus Superman. Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of big trailers coming out and hitting us all within the same weekend. And I know, I remember you mentioning that there was supposed to be another big surprise coming out of the Star Wars convention, and they've, now that they've released that, but they haven't released the trailer out into the wild yet for Star Wars Rogue One.
Right.
Despite certain people, shaky cam footage of the trailer inside the event, but Disney's been cracking down on, getting those videos taken off because of the, copyright.
Yeah, the fact that they haven't put out Rogue One is kind of a little bit confusing to me, because I really don't see the point. Especially because it was a trailer that we presume, we pretty much know it wasn't made out of any footage from the movie, because they haven't started filming yet. It was just a little teaser, to get people excited. And I don't think it. From the sounds of have you heard what it was? What it contained?
I skimmed over an article, so I didn't read for detail what was all contained, what was all shown in the trailer. I know there was some overshots of a jungle.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I want to say showed the Death Star or something.
Yeah, the camera. You start with this shot of what Star Wars fans would presume to be the moon of Endor.
Yeah.
Because that's where I think that's where we would be, and that would mean it's the second Death Star. Now they haven't specified which Death Star it is, but
well, from what I was reading it's like this is supposed to bridge the gap between episodes 3 and episodes 4. So in which case it would have to be the first Death Star.
Yeah, but we never actually saw the planet where that Death Star was being constructed. So there is plenty of room there for interpretation.
Because who necessarily says that it's completely jungle? It's forest. Because realistically, Endor,
right,
it was more forest than jungle.
Right.
Now, if I can pronounce it correctly, Kashak or something
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk. Okay.
Right.
So all those Y's were throwing me off. That's more jungle. That was a little bit more jungle. I mean, there's still a lot of foresty stuff, but that was a little more jungle than what Endor was. At least from what we've seen in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it's got to be the first Death Star.
That's probably what it's going to be, which to me is kind of silly, but yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, I mean, I've read nothing about, I don't know what all these other, I don't know what should be the correct term for these movies, the spin-off franchise movies.
Well, they've settled that. It's called the Star Wars Anthology.
Anthology, okay. Because I heard them talking about they want to do that, for like Yoda, Boba Fett, Han Solo.
Well, those are that's what the fans have speculated about. The studios haven't really told us anything about what they'll actually do.
Oh, of course
but
not.
Those are the top speculations among fans, which may be true, may not be.
Yeah, it'd be like, here's what we all would really like, because we love these characters. We want more of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps we all want them, but realistically, maybe that's not the best idea for a movie.
I've always been a little bit conflicted about a Boba Fett movie, because I mean he's a very popular character within the fandom, and there's a whole lot of development and mythology been devoted to that character through the expanded universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that no longer exists.
Yeah, but there's still what Lucas added to the character in the prequels.
Yeah.
We kind of forget that, but there is.
Really, it's just a tiny little bit in episode 2.
Right, but if you but watching the movies, it's really hard to me. It's just so hard to justify any of that, because he really doesn't do anything.
No.
He never even shoots anybody. He never kills anybody in any of the two in Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. He never does anything. And then he gets taken out completely by accident by a blind Han Solo and swallowed by the Sarlacc.
Though I recently saw an article, I saw the headlines where that Disney is officially saying that he survives the Sarlacc. Okay, whatever. I don't know if they're adopting some canon.
That's been an established fact within the expanded universe.
Okay.
It was established pretty for a long time that Boba Fett survived, that he escaped from the Sarlacc, and that he was, salvaged and recovered by another bounty hunter and nursed back to health.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of different stories post Return of the Jedi with Boba Fett and appearances by him in a few different stories, and there's even in the short story collection, which I have around here somewhere. I think it's up there. But in the short story collection, Tales of the Bounty Hunters, which tells a short story about all the all those bounty hunters you see in Empire Strikes Back, that lineup, all of whom, through that collection and various others, they all have a name and a story and some interesting stuff.
I believe I know there was Boba Fett, IG-88,
right?
Bosk.
That's the lizard guy.
Okay, yeah.
Dengar is the man with the
Dengar
bandaged head.
Yeah.
And then there's two more. There's
so there's
Zuckuss and Forlom. Okay. It's always interesting to see what the story creators do, especially when they're juggling so many different things. The IG-88 short story is so fascinating because the author has to juggle the fact that because this is after they made Shadows of the Empire, and which was this really cool kind of concept of kind of making a fourth Star Wars movie without making a Star Wars movie, because it was a video game. It was a comic book. It even got a soundtrack. There is it even got a soundtrack, which I've never gotten. I'm not quite sure why. I always wanted to get the soundtrack. And, and the novel. I forgot the novel. The novel's the important one.
Okay.
Because that's obviously where the story is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The video game and the comic book are just kind of spun off of the novel. The novel is what focuses really on Skywalker and Leia and them. And this is all set in the year between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. This is the in-between story. This is what explains, where did Leia get that bounty hunter outfit she disguises herself in? When did Luke Skywalker build his new lightsaber? Little things like that.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best of the expanded universe books, I think. I think it's one of the best ones. And the comic book tells the story from Boba Fett's point of view, more or less. There's still a lot of sequences from the novel in the comic book, but Boba Fett is never seen, except maybe from a distance, in the novel. You've never seen anything from his perspective. The comic book really goes into his perspective.
Okay.
And the fact that he's basically fighting off every bounty hunter in the galaxy to get Carbonite Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt. Because everybody wants that bounty.
Yeah.
So he is just fighting everyone off. And it's one of those stories that really shows you how cool Boba Fett could be, if there was any reason to believe he should be that cool.
Yeah.
The video game, which since there's like no storyline in the video game at all, you could consider to be just nonsense, is basically from the perspective of a character called Dash Rendar, who's basically a Han Solo stand-in. He's the smuggler or hotshot guy they get to in Shadows of the Empire, because they don't have Han, so you gotta have somebody.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, Rendar gets to do a lot of cool things in the video game. He gets to fight Boba Fett. He gets to, he's in the Battle of Hoth for some bizarre reason. I guess they just wanted the Battle of Hoth in the game.
Oh, sure.
But, I don't even know if he's really supposed to.
It's a very iconic battle, I guess.
It is, I guess, I mean, maybe people should try to do more snow battles.
We need more snow planets. There we go. More Hoths.
That's right. And Rendar has this big fight with IG-88 in the video game. But I don't think that must not have ever been canon. Or if it was, I don't know. Because there's also a lot of continuity issues that had to be solved. Because if you actually pay attention, in Empire Strikes Back, when Chewbacca is in the Cloud City's trash, the trash room he's in, and he's trying to save C-3PO.
Yeah.
If you pay attention, you see IG-88, a wrecked IG-88 in there.
Yeah. Another excuse to have to go and watch the movies again.
Yeah. So, I mean, the people behind the expanded universe have had to explain those little inconsistencies that they weren't even thinking about when they were making the movie. They just needed a droid.
Throw a droid there.
Yeah.
Throw a droid for background garbage. It'll be all good.
Right.
Well, here, let me play devil's advocate. Say there's multiple designs of that droid. Did they ever want to go with that?
I'm
just throwing that out there.
That may have been on the table at one point, but I don't know. I don't know who really wrote the character, where they established the character, but somewhere along the line they established that IG-88 was a prototype assassin droid being built by the Empire. Basically, and this is all in the short story. I mean, he was kind of, you could argue this was kind of meant to be, the Empire was trying to build a Terminator, and they built IG-88. Yeah. And this proved to be a very bad idea. Because the moment they turned it on, it killed everyone. It killed all the builders, and then escaped. But there were 4 or 5 other IG-88s. So it activated all of them, and they all share the same programming consciousness. Or maybe he built another. I think it was that there were other ones. I don't think he built more of himself. Especially if you look at IG-88, I'm not sure how he could. It's not the most functional looking thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, that's when you were going off into get Terminator and started killing everything. It's like, really, that thing started killing everybody that built it? Though I imagine one guy that's off in a completely separate room is like, success!
Yeah.
That'll teach you for eating my lunch.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look all that impressive, but, according to, the expanding universe, it's actually got, built-in blasters and flamethrowers and all sorts of fun stuff. But anyway.
Yeah.
In the Shadows of the Empire comic, Boba Fett comes out of warp, or hyperspace. It's hyperspace in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Warp is Star Trek.
Yes.
He comes out of hyperspace, and there is IG-88's ship waiting for him. So he blasts it. And then suddenly he's getting blasted from the other side by IG-88's ship. And this is in the comic. This is Shadows of the Empire, the comic, and Boba Fett's like, that first one must have been a decoy. And so, there's this, big fight, and he blasts that ship. Now that's actually after Empire Strikes Back. Before that, there's this thing where IG-88 actually made it to Cloud City to get Han Solo and Leia, but Boba Fett was also there. So you have this showdown between Boba Fett and IG-88, and IG-88 loses, and that's why there's that trashed one in Cloud City.
Okay.
So, and then in the short story, it establishes that that was one IG-88 destroyed. And then that decoy ship, that was actually another IG-88.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett just kind of took a robot by surprise. Yeah. Try figuring that one out. But the other one, but there was 2 of them. The other one tried to take on Boba Fett, and that one lost as well. So, and I can't. So that's 3 IG-88s gone.
So it's like if there were 4 or 5,
right?
So you gotta imagine, the other 2 are like, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and
let's think this through a little bit better.
And I have, and that's the last you see of IG-88 in the Shadows of the Empire storyline. I don't remember if the short story if it ever even admitted to the fight with Dash Rendar. I'm not even sure. I don't remember that it did. So, again, the video game almost doesn't even apply to any of the canon. The video game just exists.
It was a video game.
Yeah.
It was just for the sake of, more stuff for the franchise.
Right.
Just more stuff. More money.
And then this is the best part. In the short story, IG-88 downloads his consciousness into the Death Star. So
we're talking second Death Star.
Second Death Star.
Okay.
He downloads his consciousness into the second Death Star. So try and imagine this. You have this rogue droid that hates all life, is now inside a planet-sized battle station.
Yeah.
This is not a good scenario.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it establishes that okay, he's in there, and he's basically taken over, but he's keeping but the station isn't finished.
Yeah.
IG-88 is biding its time, waiting for the station to be finished, and then you're kind of seeing you're seeing the thoughts of the Death Star while the big battle of Endor is going on. And the last lines of the short story are, I have detected, ships flying within within myself, but they are irrelevant. Soon, in a few seconds, I will be fully active and in full control. And then I shall be the ultimate power.
Yeah.
And that's where the story ends, because we know what happens to the Death Star.
Yeah. Those irrelevant factors become very relevant very fast.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, so that's either the kind of the coolest thing you've ever read, or that is the most pandering kind of fan fiction you can imagine. Which one is it?
Yeah, that's a weird spot to go at. Very weird, because that almost sounds like something I would almost do just for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, hey, I already know this happens like this, but let's have some fun with it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of have this weird little thing going off. And but geez. That's funny.
Yeah.
To me, that's really funny.
Yeah. I don't know if I mean, even when I first read that, I was conflicted about that.
Because the way that I would read it, and of course, this is me. I tend to do things in more comedy tone. So I could totally see that just being like, it's a complete comedy bit.
Yeah.
It's just this complete comedy bit where the IG-88 is like bad luck, and he's trying to get power and become the most powerful, trying to get to the next Super Saiyan level. and just he tries all these other things, and it's like, finally my chance, and have it just ripped away at the last second.
Yeah, you can just imagine.
He's like, you're just about to press the button, and the button disappears.
You can just imagine IG-88's last processes, not thoughts, process, as the station is exploding. It's like, oh, uh-oh.
He's like, ah, crap. Or except the way that it would be done in TV or film would be like, oh, and the explosion would cut out the curse word.
Mm-hmm. But, I always saw, but there was a part of me that never really liked that idea, because in the Star Wars universe, the biggest, worst bad is supposed to be the Sith. It's supposed to be Vader and Palpatine. They are the ultimate evil.
Yeah.
So when you actually give the Death Star 2.0 a mind of its own,
yeah,
it starts and which has no concern for either Jedi or Sith, just wants to destroy everything.
Yeah.
That to me kind of makes... Doesn't that make everything we see in the movie just a little bit irrelevant?
Yeah. Like, all of a sudden, it's just a giant Dalek going around blowing everything up.
Yep. Exterminate.
Yeah.
Exterminate.
So, sorry, I had to go Doctor Who on you there. I just started making connections. There's some similarities there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, whenever you do robots that have to destroy all life,
Yep.
even though technically the Daleks are not robots,
They're actually, they're super genetically modified creatures of pure hate. Yeah.
they're basically ugly starfish.
Yeah.
Somehow, somebody thought, let's turn ourselves into starfish, and that will make us the master race. What logic there was to that decision is beyond me. But I suppose if you want to eliminate all life other than you in the universe, logic just sort of left the room a long time ago.
I will be the most handsome in the world. No, we gotta think larger. Galaxy!
And then time itself.
Yeah.
But it has to be under the most extreme of all possible circumstances.
Yeah.
He's got to save that bus full of children.
Yeah.
No, not even a bus. Yeah, that bus.
A star cruiser full of children.
No, he has to save the universe.
Yeah.
The entire universe has to be at risk.
Yeah.
That is all I will accept. Only if the entire universe, because otherwise, that bus full of kids versus Harrison Ford, the kids are gone. The kids don't matter.
Kids.
Harrison Ford matters more than that bus full of kids. I'm sorry. Only if, all the billions upon billions in the universe are at stake. Does the math
the whole of
even out?
reality.
That's right.